Washington State to Vancouver Island, British Columbia. Chris and I got off work yesterday, Monday, and we drove north to Olympia, Washington, just a couple hours north of Oregon City where we live, stayed the night there, and today we drove to Port Angeles, got on the ferry, and we are on our way to Victoria, one of my favorite cities in British Columbia right now. Once we get there, we're going to drive to Lake Cowichan, stay the night there, and then the next morning we will be driving to Bamfield and parking at the northern terminus of the West Coast Trail. We got permits to do the West Coast Trail back in January, and we've been planning a lot for the last 8 months, training, looking at logistics, getting ready to do the trail, and we get to start it on Thursday morning. First we got to get there. It's a pretty remote part of Canada, so it's taken us 2.5 days to get there. But once we get to Bamfield at the northern terminus, we're going to drop our car, go to the ranger station, get our permits, then get on a bus and go down to the southern terminus where we'll stay the night, and then take that same bus to the trailhead the next morning. So we are super pumped. Been looking forward to this for a long time, and now it's actually here. So after a really nice night in Lake Cowichan, here we are on a rumbly dirt road headed up to Bamfield, where we're going to park the car at the northern terminus of the WCT. We've been on this dirt road for not quite an hour and a half. We've got about 50 or so minutes left to get to our destination, so more of this. Had a great night in Cowichan last night, slept really well, nice little hotel. It rained pretty hard last night, it was misty this morning, but it looks like it's drying up. Might rain on and off today, but it's supposed to be dry tomorrow. So yeah, we're pumped. We're very stoked. 3.5-hour bus ride from the northern terminus to Port Renfrew, where we're staying tonight. So we made it to Port Renfrew after our 3.5-hour ride on the bumpy bus. And now we are staying the night in one of these hiker huts, and we'll catch the bumpy bus going the other direction in the morning, and it'll drop us off at the trailhead. There's the inside of the hiker hut. They're very cute. Pretty basic, everything you need. Shared bathrooms are next door. Good morning. It's today, West Coast Trail Day, Thursday, August the 7th, 2025. I'm standing here at the West Coast Trail Express bus stop, waiting for our bus. So today we're going to be hiking 6 kilometers once we start the trail, which is about 3.7 miles. Should be pretty rough terrain. Got a big ass ladder to start the day. And then some roots and mud and ladders and all kinds of fun. So I'm hoping the 3.7 miles, although I know they'll be difficult, granted that given that it's a short day, we should be okay. It is misting. That typical Pacific Northwest mist was not supposed to rain today at all, so I'm hoping it burns off by the time we're actually hiking. But either way, we're really excited.
Taking pictures?
I told you not to pee here.
Oh, sorry.
What are you doing?
I just did it for fun, you know. I had to relieve myself. I was in a Portaloo. Okay. Nice. Oh. Thank you.
There it is. It's happening. Oh my God. So we made it to the steam donkey engine. Oh my God. I haven't taken much photo or video because this trail is exhausting. It is technical with a capital T. But this was used back in the day for logging. Oh, we've got about another 2.5K to go, but we're almost at the high point. All along this trail, we have seen so many chanterelles. It is illegal. There they are. There's the loot. It's illegal to harvest them here. And we don't have capacity anyhow, but the mushroom hunter in me is like, whoa, no, why are you walking away? But they are out. Yay! We made it to the high point. Oh, good grief. Okay, so normally hiking 1 mile an hour is a slow hike. We've been doing about 1 kilometer an hour. Let that sink in. Oh my God, this is so hard. It's beautiful, but very hard. All right, I gotta go down a big hill now. Today was hard. Really, really hard. Like, easily one of the hardest days I've ever done backpacking. It was only 3.7 miles, but it was like every Pacific Northwest obstacle you can think of. Mud, roots, rocks. It was everything. There were parts where we were just straight up rock climbing, and there was a lot of really difficult down climbing, which I hate. There was a lot of elevation gain most of the trip, thankfully. It took us 6 hours, 7 with break times, and I ate every bit of food I brought for today. I rarely do that, but I got to camp and I was running out of adrenaline at that point, and then the tiredness hit me and it was like, oh my gosh, my fingers are shaky, I need food, I need water. So I'm enjoying some chicken broth after eating a very large dinner, and tomorrow we have to get up at about 4 in the morning to get hiking by 5:30 because we have to hit the tide favorably. But I will say this is a really beautiful campsite. So over there on that land is Port Renfrew, the town we stayed in last night. There's a boat out there. Chris is starting to get ready for bed. Sea stacks. There's a bathroom up there, which has another ladder to get up to it. Fun. Yeah, I'm gonna probably sleep like the dead tonight. I'm very, very tired. day 2 on the West Coast Trail, leaving Thrasher Camp at 6:05 a.m. We gotta get going here real shortly. We have a window from 6 to basically 11:45 to go around these boulders and surge channels before high tide rolls in, so we gotta get moving. A little nervous, but after yesterday, I keep telling myself it's only 1.5K of boulder field, so it's gotta be better than yesterday. I sure hope so, because I am very tired. Quads are beat. But gosh, it's beautiful here. We have 7K total, which is 4.3 miles to our next campsite. And hopefully we get there early enough we have some lounge time. We just climbed over, and in my case, crawled under those logs and boulders. Oh, good grief. Oh my God, we made it through the boulder field. That was an ordeal. It took about 2.5 hours crawling up and over boulders and logs, under. Good Lord, just exhausting. But we're here at these beautiful sea stacks, and right over here is Ellen Point, and we are here well within the timetable, so we're good. So we finished day 2. We did Thrasher to Camper Bay. It was 4.3 miles, and it was very difficult. The boulders this morning, oh my gosh, that was crazy. I didn't take a lot of photos or video of it because it was just so much. That pretty much wiped us out. And then we walked across the surge channels. Those were pretty cool, not too bad. And then we had a lot of goopy mud and roots to deal with in the forest, and then some nice boardwalk towards the end, some ladders, and then I did my first cable car by myself. Chris didn't want to do it. He just wanted to walk across the river, and I wanted to do the cable car. I was curious, and it was really fun. I highly recommend it. But this is a very difficult hike. Harder than the Teton Crest Trail, like by far. Harder than that hellish canyon that Chris and I walked through in 2022 when we had no water in our route for our day 3, and we went through this canyon on this old abandoned trail. That was hard. That was the hardest backpacking trip I've done in my life. This is at least as hard, probably harder. So we're enjoying it, but in that special way where it's really, really hard, and you know you're making good memories, but your body is like, why are you doing this to me? You should see the amount of bruises on my legs right now. I look like a Holstein cow. But anyway, we have a really hard day tomorrow, probably the hardest one. But then days 4 through 7 should be piece of cake. So anyway, this is Camper Bay, and it is lovely. There's a cable car over the river that I did earlier. So this is brackish water coming in from the coast. The water over by the cable car is coming down, and that's drinkable. Mountains over there, that's the United States, the Willamette Peninsula. And tomorrow we will go into the woods and head up into the hills. There's no beach tomorrow. It's all forest, all difficult forest. So probably getting up at around 5 to start hiking at 7. So, day 3, 5.6 miles, 9K. I thought this would be the hardest day, and knock on wood, plenty of that. So far, it's not. So far, it has been not terrible. We gained 400 feet right out of camp, had a couple of ladders. But then, before I knew it, we were at the 400-foot precipice. And we've been on mostly flat or downhill terrain, headed towards the ocean. There have been some really muddy spots, but there's also been these lovely boardwalk sections, which are such a treat after what we've done the last 2 days. But we still have a lot of really big ladders coming up. I think once we get past those, that'll do wonders for us mentally. But yeah, so far so good. Ladders of colite. 9 down, 7 up. We'll be taking a break at the bottom. I'm kind of dreading this section, but we'll be happy when it's over.
Not a fan. Not a fan.
Well, we made it. We made it to Walbrand last night. I couldn't take a video last night. I was way too tired. We rolled in at 7:20 p.m. and we started hiking at 8. So that tells you what kind of day we had. Just harrowing. I mean, the ladders of colite alone were a lot. I'm afraid of heights, and I just had to suck it up and do it. And I got really emotional at the top. Didn't think I would, but there were 7. Some of them were really steep and exposed, and you know, when you lose a parent, they never really leave you. And at times when I'm really scared and freaked out, I can still hear my dad speaking to me, and I kind of felt like he was pushing me up those ladders, telling me, hand, foot, keep your focus on the rungs. It's gonna be okay. And when I got to the top, I just cried. It was a lot. And then the forest afterwards, my God, the bogs and the roots and the bogs, if you're not careful, you can get your shoe stuck in and it'll suck your shoe clean off your foot. So really scary stuff. And it was supposed to be 9K yesterday, but the lovely Canadian family that we're staying with, they actually said it was 12K on their Strava. So that's the thing about the West Coast Trail. You have to take those kilometers with a grain of salt because it's been rerouted so many times. 75 plus is more accurate. But today, we should have a really nice day ahead of us. It's mostly all beach, and it's 11 kilometers. It's 6.8 miles, but it's mostly just beach walking. And there's a short forest section, and we're going to be staying on another lovely beach tonight. So really looking forward to that. And I'll show you this beautiful campsite. I wish we'd have got here earlier so we could enjoy it more, but it's really, really nice. So this is Walbran. Got trees on the cliffs here. And there's a river coming out. Or creek, I should say. There's a cable car down there. We're not taking that today because we're taking the beach. There's camp. There's more campsites out on the ocean front. There's Chris sitting there enjoying his morning coffee. And it's so beautiful out here. It's gonna be warm these next few days. And my new pants that I brought on this trip already have a rip by the knee. Barnacles and tree roots will do that. So I'll probably wear shorts today and show off all the carnage from the last 3 days with the bruising. And then so this is what we're walking through this morning. Headed first to Bonilla. We've got 5K to cover. But there's tidal dependent. We've probably already walked a couple of it. Couple K, if I had to guess. It's fantastic compared to the last 3 days. Oh my gosh, it's like night and day. We're walking on this nice flat sandstone shelf. The tide is out. There are lots of tide pools, little crabs scurrying away. And we're moving quick. Really good. Hermana Point Lighthouse. Walking along the beach here. We gotta go into the woods briefly and then back on the beach to Cribs, to our campsite. We are here at the Nighthom Burger Shack, which does not run every day. Looks like it's not open on the weekends, but we are stopping here to change our shoes and grab a snack before heading into the woods briefly, since there are ladders. So we had to go across a headland for Carmona Point Lighthouse light station, and the headland was tough. There are some ladders going up into it, and then it was back in the tree roots and the mud and the bogs and the up climbing and down climbing and the shitty boardwalks, and it was very tiring. But now we're back on the beach, only about 1 kilometer from camp. We should get there the earliest we've arrived at a camp yet, so that's pretty encouraging. And this is also just an unbelievably beautiful beach. Got mountains over there. Sea stack. More sea stacks. Really nice. So we made it to Cribs. This is our camp for the night. And tomorrow we have our longest day yet, 17 kilometers, which is 10.6 miles. So we are going to get up at the crack of dawn with the farmers and start hiking right at 6 a.m. because looking at what our pace has been so far, we're really slow and we're gonna need all day. But it's also Crab Shack day. So tomorrow we will be stopping at the Crab Shack for brunch or lunch or maybe a late lunch. I don't know, we'll see how it goes. But for now, I'm gonna get some footage of this beautiful campsite. It's like a seagull convention here, which brings me back to an incident that happened to me at Santa Barbara about 10 years ago. Let's hope that doesn't happen today. So this is Cribs. So we got a lot of tents over here. Those rocks along the water there are the Cribs, and we'll be walking along those tomorrow morning. That is the beach route. All the seagulls. day 5. Watching the seagulls. Big day. 17K. We should be on the trail by 7. Well, so far so good today. We did the first 5K in just under 2 hours. We went through, we didn't go through Dare Point. Right before Dare Point, we took the inland route because we were told by a ranger it was easier. It was. Avoided 2 big ladders. Went through the woods quite a bit, which were very easy and quick compared to all the other days. Now we've got a nice hard sand packed beach. Just popped out of the beach and back into the woods, and this is supposedly one of the nicest sections of Woodland Trail in the whole thing, and it basically looks like Forest Park. It's wonderful. Just crossed over to Didadat tribal land, and we're about 4K from the crab shack, 11K from camp tonight. 6K, halfway there. About half is behind us, thank God. Through about 2 or 3K of moderate woods. Not as hard as the first few days, but definitely mud, roots, obstacles slowed us down. But now we hit this nice section of boardwalk that goes all the way to the crab shack. So, doing okay. Maybe arriving about half an hour later than we thought.
Sounds good. Thank you.
We've made it to the crab shack. Oh, just waiting for our food.
Sorry.
Taking a rest. Oh, you're good.
Okay.
I have another 7K when we're done eating to get to camp. This place is cool. If I could do one thing, only one thing different on this hike, I would have done it in 7 nights, 8 days, and I would have stayed a night here. That would have made it easier and very enjoyable, more enjoyable.
You want to sit in here in the shade? Oh, there's chairs out here, I guess.
Oh, and this river is really flowing too. So they make the crab really, really fresh. They throw in the guts and whatnot, and the little fish come and eat them. And then there's a boat, ferry boat, takes everyone over to the other side when they're done. bags are over here. Chris is up there socializing. There's cabins you can rent, 10 pads you can rent, which I would totally do if I was going to do this again. Very cool spot. Crab, halibut, potato, grilled cheese. All right, leaving the crab shack at a little after 3, and we're going across.
5 hours.
Probably. Yep. It's gonna be late night.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump in that waterfall so vigorously.
Look at this current.
I know, this current is wild. Trail on the edge of a cliff. Oh man, that's a hell of a drop. I'm gonna put this away now. We made it through, I want to say 3K of pretty brutal woods. And now we've got 4K left, probably 3 at this point, to get to camp. We will be going through, hole in the wall over there, but it's hot and we're so tired. Maybe with the full moon and whatnot, the tide tables were wrong, but we could not pass from this side. Obviously, this is very dangerous over here. But we did take the bypass and we were able to come through from the other side and still check it out. Oh, here comes the water. This is really cool. So leaving hole in the wall now, we have 2 more K to camp through not hard packed sand. We're probably gonna get to camp at like 8:30 at night. Oh my God, and we started hiking at 7:30 on the dot. 13-hour day. Granted, we spent 2 hours at the crab shack, but that's still 11 hours of hiking. Oh my God. Sometimes I wonder what's wrong with us. Beautiful spot though. Well, we made it to Susiat camp pretty late, rolled in about 7:30 at night. We got everything set up and now the sun's going down. We were too tired to cook dinner. We're just gonna have some jerky and go to bed and have a nice sleep tonight. We don't have any reason to get up super early tomorrow, which is wonderful. There is a tide restriction tomorrow, but it's pretty late in the day. Yeah, we hiked 17K today and we are so zonked, but even though it was hard, it was a really cool day. The crab shack was a big highlight. Running into the Bach family again was wonderful, seeing them before we took off. And perfect weather. Basically the whole trip. Couldn't ask for better. Tomorrow we are going to our last camp of the trip. We're going to Michigan Camp, which is 13K from here, which is I think 8.2 miles. But the terrain is supposed to be pretty easy in some places, so hopefully it'll be a little less hard on our old bodies. But yeah, I'm really anxious to get some good sleep tonight. So this is Susiat Falls. This is the water source at camp. And this is also the place where a lot of people swim, which is exactly what Chris and I did when we got here late last night. We were so hot, so tired. We immediately just took off our clothes down to the underwear, put on our water shoes and got in there. It's quite cold, but it felt amazing, especially on my legs and feet, which are really swollen. But this is a really beautiful spot. There was actually a bear down on that end of the beach early this morning. Today is day 6. We have 8.1 miles and 13K to go. So it's gonna be a long day, but the train is supposed to be easier. And I'm looking forward to having our last night tonight and hopefully get there early enough to enjoy it. I mean, ladder footage. There's Chris coming down a 58 runger. It's a big one. To the second steam donkey engine on the West Coast Trail, which is a big landmark. From here on in, it should get a lot easier. Made it to the 2 iconic red chairs. Suspension bridge. A bit bouncy. We're over Secaucus Creek on the Secaucus Suspension Bridge. We just did a couple of really steep, unnerving ladders down here. Great condition, just very steep. And we're both a little wiggy from those, but look how pretty this is in here. It's like infinity pools. Over here's the ocean. There's a group that keeps leapfrogging us. Well, they're usually ahead of us down there getting water. We're not going to make the tide to be able to take the beach, so we're going to take the inland route, which is supposedly pretty easy. Onward. stopped at Michigan, or I wish, ha! Stopped at whatever one this is. I'm tired. Darling. It's Darling. To take a break. We've got 2 more K left to Michigan camp. It's on the beach. Might be a bit of a slog, but this breeze is heavenly. And tomorrow's our last day, so we don't care about phone battery at this point. Chris is playing goose over there, which is lifting my spirits a little, to be honest. Beautiful place, but I'm so damn tired. I feel like my feet are gonna fall off. There's these buoys. Anytime there's like a camp or an entrance to like a beach access or a beach exit, there are buoys. And that lets hikers know, hey, the trail's over here. And they have interesting things written on them. Almost to Michigan camp, and out there on the rocks there is a boiler, a shipwreck. So this area, the whole reason the West Coast Trail exists is this area is known as the Graveyard of the Pacific, which frankly there's a lot of those. Stories got one too, but it's one of them. A lot of shipwrecks out here over a number of years, a lot of deaths, and if people survived, it was very difficult for them to get inland, get help in such rough country. So the Canadian government created a trail, and it was meant to be a road, actually, but eventually it became the West Coast Trail. So pretty neat. Well, we made it to Michigan camp. I'm lying on my back in our tent site in the woods. We decided to go in the woods, not on the beach tonight. I'm just looking up at the trees. My feet are propped up on the side of a tree. I have such horrible swelling in my feet and calves. It's pretty painful. And I know that getting your feet raised up above your heart level will help with that, so I'm just letting them hopefully drain. But we're here. That was 13K today. We have 12K tomorrow, and the very last stretch of the trail, there are 2 routes. There's beach or woods, and the woods have some of the tallest ladders of the entire trail, including a 62 rung ladder up. And that's a hard no for Chris and I. We don't want to do that. So we're actually setting alarms for, we're talking about 3, which is not ideal, but better than doing the ladders. But for now, this is a lovely campsite and we're going to get some rest. So now that the ibuprofen has kicked in, I'm walking around and admiring this amazing campsite. Look at how pretty it is out here. It's north. We'll be hiking in that direction tomorrow. Through the woods, not on the beach until the very end. So you can camp on the beach, or where Chris and I are, here in the woods. Being that this is our last night, I wanted to get some footage of these campsites. So most of them have outhouses like that. We have to climb up a ladder. just what you want to do after a day of ladders. And they all have these buoys hanging in the trees. We're back there. There's our tent. As excited as I am to get out of here tomorrow because of how sore my body is, how much I'm looking forward to going to Victoria. I'm really gonna miss this part right here in the evenings when we settle into camp. Okay, 10K left. There's entrance to the lighthouse blocked off. It's over there. Last ladders of the trip. Just went down 15, crossing this rickety bridge, and then a 21er over there. And then we were done with these ladders. Ah, oh, it's a good feeling. Nothing left to do but do it. So we're about 3K left to go, and there's a motorbike. Rumor has it, back when this resembled a road, somebody rode this out here and stashed it behind a tree, forgot which tree, and this is how it ended up here. I don't know if that's true, but we're getting awfully close. Got 1 more kilometer, a little bit in the woods, and the last 650 meters, I believe, is beach. And then we're done. Just having one final snack break on these lovely salmon benches. Trail's been pretty easy most of the way, except for getting out of Michigan was brutal. You know how in video games they save the big boss for the end? Well, the big mud pit was coming out of that camp. It was like the worst mud pit of the whole thing. I did take a photo of it. But since then, it's been pretty decent terrain. See you on the other side. We're on the beach. And there's the end. Over there. Just a little bit of beach walking and we're done. Versus probably an extra hour in the woods to go over some big ladders. A lot of mixed emotions, really. I'm so happy to be done. I'm so tired. My body's never been this sore. But I'll miss being out here. It's probably one of the most beautiful places in the world, in my opinion. And there it is. There's the end. We did it. We survived. Nope, been there, done that. Yes! Well, we did it. We hiked 75 plus kilometers on the WCT over 7 days. I've never been so exhausted in my life, but it was amazing. Today is August 13th, 2025. It's my 40th birthday. I wanted to bring in the new decade in a big way, and I did that, a very big way. Next time for a shower.